What's up, sports bettors? Alex here, and we had a super successful weekend betting on college football. It was the majority of our bets, and we cashed big. So we had UNC +5, UCLA on the money line, Georgia -29. So I mean, we cashed the majority of our bets. Troy -5.5. It was a pretty incredible weekend if you've been tailing, and I locked in 3 sharp early bets for Week 7. So pretty crazy. We're already in Week 7. We have Penn State, Michigan, Oklahoma State, TCU. There's some big games kind of lined up, and I'm going to be sharing with you 3 sharp bets as well as strategies that I personally implement to find college football plays, right? So the first thing I love to do early in the week is use this OddsJam screen to kind of browse for line discrepancies, to browse for value. So this is completely free to use. It's just a way of viewing odds. And what you can do is you can look for where sportsbooks have the total set at different levels, right? So as an example, in Marshall, Louisiana, actually the first game we look at, you can see BetOnline has the over 46.5 points at -110 odds. Bet Rivers, which is right here, so right here, Barstool, a bunch of other sports books, they have the total at 48. So 46.5, 48. So you can kind of use this to see early line discrepancies, line movements, stuff like that for total points, point spread, money line, whatever you want to look at. You know, you'll get millions of odds kind of updating in real time, which is pretty fascinating. So you can see right here, not a ton of sportsbooks have started to post money line odds yet for most of these games. Aside from like SupraBets and Bet365. But regardless, as sportsbooks start to post money line odds, you'll see some plays here. But anyways, let's get into the first bet I have. So the first play I ended up going with is right here. I went with Utah -2.5 on the point spread. So what I ended up using is the OddsJam arbitrage betting tool to look for big line discrepancies in college football. So essentially, what is arbitrage? Right? Arbitrage is when sportsbooks have such a big line discrepancy that you could bet on both sides of the market. So Clemson -6.5 and Florida State +6.5 and earn a risk-free profit, right? So on PointsBet, Clemson -6.5 is +120 odds, right? On FanDuel, Florida State +6.5 is -110. So you're betting 110 to win back 100 on Florida State +6.5. On Clemson -6.5, you're betting 100 to win 120 in profit. So like when the plus number is greater than the minus number, you can earn a risk-free profit betting on equal and opposite outcomes. The over and the under, one side of the spread, the other side of the spread. So here, this is a pretty big arbitrage bet. You could earn a risk-free 2% return on capital. So these are financial market inefficiencies, right? People use the OddsJam arbitrage page to like day trade sports, right? Buy the over on one sportsbook, hit the under on another sportsbook, lock in a risk-free profit, move on, right? We'll have a video kind of about arbitrage in the end screen, but it's a super valuable concept because it also points you to big line discrepancies and good betting opportunities. So for example, the first play I locked in is Utah -2.5. You can see that's an arbitrage bet with Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world. And so I clicked into this bet, right? And I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. What's going on here? And what you'll notice is FanDuel, they have the line set at Utah -2.5, right? Most sportsbooks have the line at 3.5. Obviously, the jump from 2.5 to 3.5 is massive, right? 3 is such a key number in football. If Utah wins the game by 3, my point spread bet on FanDuel cashes. Everyone else who bet Utah -3.5, they're losing their bet. So Utah -2.5 is ridiculous value, and I ended up locking in this play. You can see PointsBet has this -140, Pinnacle has this -142, Betfair -256, Resorts World -140. So kind of looking at all the data in the market, it's very clear that Utah -2.5 is an incredible opportunity, right? Big line discrepancy. And this is really just rational sports betting, right? You're following the value and you're following, the odds, right? You're following real-time market data. Like there's no reason to try to outsmart the bookmakers. When all the sports books are opening the spread at 3.5, and you can grab the minus 2.5 on the favored team and get that whole, field goal value, where if Utah wins by exactly 3, you're cashing, everyone else is losing. That's how you become a winning sports bettor, right? You find value bets like this one. So I ended up locking it in. I absolutely love this play. I think it's incredible. So that's bet number 1. The second bet, as I said, is going to be Florida State versus Clemson. So once again, that was an arbitrage bet. And what you'll notice is we were able to pick up Florida State, plus 6.5 right here. Most sports books have the spread at 4 to 5. And we're getting plus 6.5 on FanDuel. PointsBet has this minus 160, Betfair minus 185, Pinnacle minus 134, Resorts World Bet minus 150. We're getting this minus 110. So we're just being rational, sharp sports bettors, following the data in the market, looking for value. It's the easiest way to make money sports betting. Use all this real-time market data, all this real-time odds, all these real-time odds. Use all the real-time market data to make sharper bets, better betting decisions. You want to be all over this minus 110. So I locked it in as well. Again, like DraftKings has a spread at 5, Caesars at 4.5, PointsBet at 4, BetOnline has it at 4. Like 6.5 and 4 is a massive difference. If Florida State loses by 6, we're cashing. If they lose by 5, we're cashing. Anyone who bet that on Caesars, Florida State plus 4.5 is losing. These picking up that extra 2 points in value, 3, 2.5, 3 points in value. Oh my gosh, it turns a bet from being unprofitable to extremely profitable on the spread. Being a sports bettor, it's not about winning every bet, right? It's about having an edge and making money in the long run and finding bets that have an edge and placing as many of them as you can on a daily basis. So I absolutely destroyed Florida State plus 6.5. Then the final one I ended up having, or maybe it's not the final one, but LSU plus 3.5. So we can dig into the odds once again. Most sportsbooks have the spread at 2.5 or 3, and we're getting plus 3.5. LSU looked incredible against Tennessee. We lost money on that game, I'm pretty sure, but Georgia State minus 2.5. We crushed it. These early college football line discrepancies and line movements are literally how you shoot up your bankroll. You can find tons of positive EV wagers. So once again, it's like minus 110 on BetOnline for 2.5. The 3.5, we're getting minus 110. BetOnline's a super sharp offshore sportsbook. DraftKings, PointsBet, almost every sportsbook has the plus 3 favored. We're getting plus 3.5 at minus 110. DraftKings has the plus 3, minus 120. So we're just being rational, data-driven sports bettors, being like investors, looking for value. So what we can do is we can see if anything else, is kind of out there that we want to take advantage of. It doesn't look like it, so we can go back to the positive EV page. We can see if there's any other bets we want to lock in. And I'll pull up my 3 bet slips here so you can see I actually bet them. I always bet what I say. And show you my bet slip because I want to show you like I'm riding it too. We're up 18K in these YouTube plays I've given out since, in the past month, since the start of football season. We're up on live streams since September 28th, 7K. You could have tailed everything live. It's a live stream. You could have tailed it all. So, the point is just to show you the power of mathematical sports betting, value-based sports betting. So LSU plus 3.5, Florida State plus 6.5, minus 110, and Utah minus 2.5. We got all those plays in. I really like them all. And, let's make some money, guys.